Do you ever wish you had a time machine so you could go back in time and fix something that you know you fluffed up? Well, today we are diving deep into the trenches of content creation, and I am sharing my top 10 game-changing insights that I wish I would have known sooner when I first started embarking on this content creator journey. Hi, I'm Whitney, digital content creator and social media consultant, and I teach you how to turn content creation into a business. And I have been officially on this content creator journey for 4 years now. I've been lukewarm creating content my whole life. Like, I've always had a thing for cameras and showing up in front of the camera, but officially about 4 years now. 2 years ago though, I was able to walk away from my full-time job. I was a classroom teacher. I did that for 10 years, and through content creation, I was able to walk away. And so now I do what I love, and the best part about it is I get to be myself. Like, I get to show up as myself. There's no code switching. I mean, sometimes I'll put on makeup, sometimes I don't, but I literally get to show up as myself and get paid. So here are 10 things I wish I would have known earlier on this journey that probably could have saved me a lot of time, a lot of energy, heartbreak, rejection, so much. Okay, so the number one thing that I wish I would have known sooner, that I felt like stopped me from starting, is I always thought I needed like a fancy camera to get started. And you do not need a camera at all, not a fancy one anyway. I'm probably the only person on the internet telling you to save your coins. Don't go spend thousands of dollars on camera gear, not yet anyway, especially if you're just getting started. I'm gonna tell you right now that buying the latest camera is not gonna help you with consistency. If you're trying to grow on social media, if you're trying to build your personal brand or your small business, then showing up consistently is the key, and buying the latest camera is not gonna help with that. So what usually happens is you open the box, you pick up the camera, you snap a few photos, and then it turns out very trash. And because you don't know how to use it, you end up setting it down and the camera ends up collecting dust, and worse, you never actually got started. So if you're new to this whole content creation thing, don't spend your money on camera gear yet. Just start with what you have, what's in your pocket already, which is your iPhone. It takes really good quality content. Just make sure you're shooting in 4K. Make sure you clean your lens, and make sure the light is shining on your face. So don't go spend a whole bunch of money on a camera, not yet. At least first prove to yourself that you can be consistent with your iPhone. The next thing that I wish I would have known sooner, and I know a lot of y'all are gonna struggle with this, but perfection had me in a chokehold. Like, I didn't want to do it if it wasn't perfect. I didn't want to post it if it wasn't perfect. I didn't want to put it out there if it wasn't perfect. And so much growth that I probably missed out on because perfection was holding me down, okay? So the second thing I wish I would have known earlier is that you don't get to start off perfect. Like, you don't get to start off good. You don't come out the gates hitting home runs and scoring national championships. No, it's literally a muscle that you have to stretch and practice, but the trick is to actually turn the camera on and stop overthinking it. We get so bogged down with like prep work, the script, our insecurities, like, what do I say? How do I hide this? And I'm just speaking from experience. Like, I have been so bogged down with like looking dumb or feeling like I'm incapable, that imposter syndrome is real. And so much to the point that I would psych myself out of doing the one thing that makes me better, and that's turning on the cameras. I'm talking to you. You're overthinking it. Just turn the camera on. And that leads me to my next point. I wish I would have known this sooner, but everything is content. Just hit the record button and worry about the rest later. You'd be shocked just how many clips of your everyday can be turned into multiple pieces of content. So turn the camera on, record whatever it is you're doing, and if it doesn't turn out good, at the very least, you were practicing and you're working on your creative muscle. Everything is content. So from you like waking up in the morning, making your coffee, to getting ready, putting on makeup, getting dressed, sitting down at your computer to do work, like all of those things you can record, and those can be turned into multiple pieces of content. This is called B-roll, and B-roll is just clips of you doing like silly tasks. I mean, like, you don't even have to really be doing anything important, just B-roll footage. And I've noticed that you could post those on Instagram as short form video, reels, stories, put some text on it, a trending sound, and then boom, you got content. And it didn't take you long to create it, and it didn't take that much thought. So one piece of advice that I wish I would have known sooner is to prop the camera up and just start recording. Everything, anything, it don't matter. This next part, as soon as I did this, it was like night and day, okay? This is more of a mental thing though. We all have excuses. We all have excuses, and you know your excuses because you've told them to yourself multiple times. So what's your excuse? Whatever it is, just fix it, okay? I do this with my clients. We go through this practice and I'm like, girl, you have had excuses, because I have. I give them examples. So I'll give you an example. One of my excuses, my hair. Like, if my hair is not done, I am not turning on nobody camera. I ain't getting up here. I ain't showing my face, none of the things. To avoid that problem, I have parameters in place so that my hair is done. I know what days are wash days. I know what protective styles I can wear. I even get somebody else to do it because I don't want to do it sometimes. So I'm avoiding those excuses by fixing them. Another excuse that I've had for many years that kept me in a chokehold was I always felt like I needed to go rent a studio to shoot in. And that's not fair to you. That's not fair to your creative process. You do not need a studio. You do need good light, I will say that. And you just need like a corner in your house with good light, a couple pieces of decor, and let that be your content creating corner. I know a lot of people struggle with time. And you'll be shocked that it doesn't take a lot of time to create content. I mean, if you got 30 minutes to sit down and turn the camera on, which I know we all do at some point in our day, then you can create content. So my excuse at one point was time. So I blocked off a certain day. I know that on this day, this particular day of the week, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna put myself together, I'm gonna put on some makeup, so that's not gonna be an excuse. I'm gonna brush my hair, so that's not gonna be an excuse. And pretty much throughout the entire day, I'm just capturing like 10-second clips of my day. No, seriously, what's actually keeping you from doing the work? Just think about it. Why haven't I started? Or why am I not consistent? That excuse will lead you to a problem. And once you figure out what the problem is, you just fix it. The next thing, I wish I would have did this earlier. I mean, people always said to do it, but I really was like burning myself out. But the one thing I wish I would have started doing sooner is batching. Batch, batch, batch. It's such a time saver. No need to shoot every single day. And to be honest, like, who has the capacity to show up on camera every single day? I don't know. But go ahead and designate one day a week to turn your camera on and batch as much content as you can. The trick to batching though is to come with a plan. Like, you can't turn the camera on and expect to come up with 25 pieces of content without having previously thought about it. So I always like to set aside a day to plan out the pieces of content that I want to record, and then a day to actually batch the pieces of content that I want to record. And that has helped me avoid burnout. It's also helped with consistency. It's also helped with my content vault. And basically a vault is just a whole bunch of B-roll clips. And now, like, whenever I don't feel like recording, or whenever I'm not in the mood, or whenever I'm on my cycle, like, I can go to this vault of content that I have already created, and then I can just pull it. I could use it as a day in the life, or a get ready with me, or a vlog, or behind the scenes with voiceovers, or add a quote on top of it, or add some trending sound. Like, the possibilities are endless when you have a vault of content and whenever you batch. And this is only possible when you turn the camera on. So just turn it on, record everything, and don't do big clips. Like, I think that's where people get messed up is they try to like record their entire day, like 24 hours worth of content. Don't do that. I don't even know who has, especially if you got an iPhone. I know you ain't got no space on that iPhone. So just record like 10-second clips of your day, 10-second clips of you doing something, and then you'll be able to use that in so many different ways later. This next part is gonna sound super cliche, and everyone says it, and it's not as easy as we think it is. It's very difficult, But being authentic, I wish I would have figured that out sooner. The sooner you can figure it out, the better. Be yourself. Be your authentic, highest self. It is hard. I ain't gonna lie, because you're vulnerable. You're opening yourself up to like criticism and scrutiny. And the internet can be a mean place. Like some people be trolling on the internet. So I get it. But the sooner you can show up as your highest authentic self, just the better. People see through phony, they see through fake. Well, the real ones do anyway. And in order to really tap into your community, you just have to be yourself. And honestly, this is coming from experience. Like, it's draining to try to keep up with being something that you're not. It's so draining. So just be it. So moving right along, this next part, I wish I would have known sooner. I would probably be in a different financial situation had I known this sooner. And that is the art of negotiating. So a part of the job is creating content for brands, which means I'm reading contracts, I'm negotiating, and I have to advocate for myself because even though I'm not a team of one, I'm the only person on my team that can negotiate my contracts. So I wish like hell I would have known how to negotiate sooner, because you're leaving so much money on the table. When a brand slides you that first offer on the table, it's the offer that they want you to take. But if you look at the contract, there's so many different places that you can like add more for your services. And I have an entire video called When to Charge More, and I will put a link in the description box. But there's so many different places that you can charge more and get more money out of brands. And negotiating, I ain't gonna lie, negotiating kind of scared me at first because I didn't want a brand to say no. And so I was always scared to like ask for more or ask for what I wanted. I was always scared to. So one thing about negotiating is that you have to know when to walk away. You gotta know when to walk away. And then you also have to be okay with no as an answer. And I know that can be challenging, but after you hear a couple no's, then your skin just get thick and then you be ready to ask for whatever you want to. So go ahead, read that contract, be ready to ask for some more money. Don't leave any more money on the table. Talk to other creators. There's also a platform that I really love. It's called FYPM. I think it's called fypm.vip. And basically this is a platform where the creators just come, they share their experiences with different brands. And so what I like to do is I like to search for the brand before I give them my offer, before I accept their offer. I like to search for the brand to see if they're on this platform, and then I get to see how much other creators have charged or how much they are paying other creators. So it's kind of like a sneak peek into their budget. Super helpful platform. If you are a creator, I highly encourage you to join FYPM. I do know that in order to join, you have to be able to contribute. So you have to have some kind of experience with working with brands, and you have to be able to prove that. But once you're in, you get to see how much other creators are charging brands. That way, when I do send them my rate, I'm not like pricing myself too high that they're gonna reject me, but I'm also not pricing myself too low that I leave money on the table. So super helpful platform. If you haven't signed up, I encourage you to go get signed up. All right, so the next part, moving right along, the next thing I wish I would have known sooner is to focus on my community and not worry about how many followers I have, okay? The followers will come, especially if you're truly building your community. The right people will find you. And I know we get so like interested in how many people are following us that we don't really pay attention to the quality of people that are following us. So instead, really focus on building a community. And that just looks like being social and replying to DMs and comments and sharing little snippets of your life, or finding other people in the same community and engaging with them. One thing that I really enjoy doing is calling people by their names. Like whenever I reply to them in a DM or in a comment, then I'll reply to them by names. I just feel like it goes such a long way when people use my name, because we all know people will hit that follow button and then just as quickly hit the unfollow button. So give them a reason to stay, give them a reason to want to join your community. All right, so moving right along, I know everyone says to be consistent, and I absolutely agree with that, but do not sacrifice the quality of your content for quantity, okay? Aside from having good, crisp, quality content that you can obviously shoot on your iPhone, you also need to have content that people actually want to see. So something that's valuable, whether it teaches them something or entertains them, makes them laugh, cry, smile, or it's something that inspires them to do something, give them good content. I've seen so many creators, for the sake of like cranking out content, that they crank out like trash content. And I feel like consistency doesn't have to be every single day. If you cannot keep up with posting every day, then don't make that your schedule. So if once a week is all you got in you, then give us good quality content once a week instead of 5 pieces of mediocre content. So that's one thing I wish I would have learned sooner. Like really pushing out quality content that speaks to exactly who I want to talk to. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen 5 days a week. It can happen just once a week, but as long as it's not sacrificing value and quality for the sake of pushing it out, please stop doing it. So the last thing that I have for you guys is to act now. So God gives us ideas. He gives us like nuggets. He plants little seeds in us, and he doesn't give it to us for us to sit on it, right? I'm noticing that creativity isn't something that you can just like summon. So whenever you need it, you can just say, hey, let me be creative. It doesn't work like that. And I wish I would have known this sooner. So whenever you have that creative idea, or whenever you have that amazing idea, like act now. When the idea hits you, or when God gives it to you, don't sleep on it, do it now. Or at least start putting the motions in place to do it now. Because if you don't, the same way he gave it to you, he will take it from you and give it to somebody else. I've seen it happen. Has it ever happened to you where somebody does something and you're like, hey, that was my idea. I had that idea. Well, they acted on it. They moved and you didn't. So now technically that's their idea. And that's what happens when you don't act. So go ahead. If God gives it to you, just do something with it. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. Right here on this YouTube channel, we talk all things content creation and the business behind content creation. Next video, I don't know what the next video is going to be about, but I'm batching today. I'm taking my own advice and I'm batching today. But I hope you found this video useful. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.